We're just ordinary people living ordinary lives until we see someone on TV win a $25,000 prize. Come on down. I'll play any game for 10 seconds of fame. Come on down. I'll make a deal, just let me spin the wheel. Come on down. To win $1 million, all you need is a little luck and thorough knowledge of multiple disparate trivial subjects.
All right, welcome
check,
to
Mike. Check.
No, we're starting the show right now.
Shit.
All right, welcome to an all-new episode of Come On Down, the Game Show podcast. I'm John Baker.
I'm Jonathan Motney.
And today we're going to be talking to you about a game show.
Weirdly enough.
This one is called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
And it was really weird because the contestant would come on, they would ask him that question, and then there was a quick yes or no, and they left, and there was no prize money.
And if you said yes, it was $1 million.
Right, that was weird. The show ran for one episode because they
ran out of money.
Yeah, they figured it out real quickly how to game the system.
Yeah, they took it on Shark Tank. That was how they got their initial funding.
Back in 2001.
Well, if you did any research, you'd know that it was back in 2007.
I'm the comedy content guy.
Okay.
You're the research boring guy.
All right.
It's clear the divide here.
All right. Before we get to the research boring part, let's get to the part where we make some money for ourselves.
Yeah. Hey, am I smarter than a sponsor? Yes. Cha-ching.
So we've got today's podcast is got a sponsor that you just sent over to me that we're gonna...
They sent over to me and I sent over to you.
Okay, so they sent it to you.
And then I sent it to you.
Right. They wrote it.
Correct.
This company wrote it.
Correct.
And then you've sent it to me.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take a look at it now. And it looks like I start.
Mm-hmm.
Diets are so tough.
The only diet I've ever been on is the EWIW diet. Eat whatever I want. It's the scariest fake laugh I've ever heard, dude.
Right. And that's why you have chubby shoulders and thick thighs with 2 C's.
Wow.
But now you can... Thighs with 2 C's is the weird part, not the thick. But now you can curb your cravings with the new UD diet.
The upside down diet is unique in that you don't have to change your eating habits at all.
What? Well, there's got to be a pill or something, right?
Nope.
Is it expensive?
Hardly. Just $5.99 a month.
Tell me what it is already, you asshole.
The Upside Down Diet team selects a curated portfolio of unsettling pictures that they send to you via text every 20 minutes. After you see the text, you won't have an appetite anymore. And if you do sneak in some food between pictures, the next one will be sure to turn your stomach upside down.
But I've never seen something so unsettling I didn't want to eat or vomit after I've eaten.
That's because you've never used the UD diet.
After filling out their online application, the UD team pulls pictures from all over the internet, specifically tailored to your fears, regrets, and trigger points.
Pictures include open wounds on animals, insects inside of foods, and nosebleeds.
Pictures of John Baker's face, yeah, that's me. Elbows that aren't bending in the proper direction. Corpses in silly poses, all those things equally disgusting.
Pictures of John Motney's nipple hair. Pictures that are zoomed in too far to tell if what you're looking at is gross, but judging by this diet, it probably is, and that still irks you. And gory cockfights.
NSYNC photos, but without JT. Hangnails that won't rip off. Your coworker that clips their toenails in the office, and many more.
More?
Yep. Come on down, listeners. Get their first month free with the code VOMITONDOWN.
If you're having trouble putting too much food in your stomach, bring it right back up with the Upside Down Diet.
TM 2017. I just assume that's when they
invented
this.
It sounds like that was a good year for it.
Anyway, thank you to the Upside Down, the UD diet, or whatever they're officially
And you
called.
know what's interesting is that when they sent it to me first, it was UDS diet. And their copywriter editor had to go back and realize that for some reason when they go through and type the letters, acronyms, I guess, there's something that doesn't work in that person's brain. And so they had to go back and remove the S.
So it was like up, down, side?
Diet.
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
But luckily we got that scored out, me and the editor.
I'm glad that you guys sorted it. So today we're going to be asking the question that everybody wants to know the answer to.
Yeah. Honestly, it's the first thing you hear at a job interview. It's the first thing you hear on a date. And those are the two I've heard it at. I don't know if you've had other situations.
Oh, yeah. No, I heard it at a trial once.
What were you on trial for?
Oh, no, it wasn't me.
Oh, you were watching a trial.
No. I was on trial, but they asked the question to one of the witnesses.
Okay. Right. And was it a fifth grader? So they were like, I don't know. I'm a fifth grader.
I'm not legally allowed to comment on it.
Well, that's fair.
Anyway, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader was a television program that began airing in 2007.
Much later than I thought. Okay.
Yeah, not 2001. 2007 is when this show started. It was hosted by Jeff Foxworthy. You remember Jeff Foxworthy?
If you remember Jeff Foxworthy, then you must have been a fan of Jeff Foxworthy.
That's good. That's kind of like his famous thing that he did.
Mm-hmm. Which was what? Just for people who don't know.
You might be a redneck.
No,
well, it was the other way around. It was like that was all.
If you blah blah
you
blah,
might
blah,
be a
blah,
redneck was always the punchline.
You might be a redneck.
And then the setups changed.
And honestly, as much hate as you want to give someone for having a, I don't know, repetitive punchline, somebody who can be successful using the same punchline, you have to respect someone like that.
Gotta give him credit. It spoke to a certain group of people very well. He was very, very famous comedian. It would, something like, if your first date was also your first time out with your sister, you might be a redneck.
Yeah, because incest happens in redneck communities. Right. And nobody really talks about it. And it honestly isn't that big of a deal. I mean, there are some genetic issues with it, but
arguably,
it's like you're born into love. You're born into a relationship. It's pretty awesome. You don't have to go out and date and do this other stuff. You're just born with your mate that was also born from the same person that you both spawned from.
This has become a different podcast than the one I wanted to start.
I'm sorry. I bring the content that everybody wants to hear.
Content. Hey, man, I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking.
Honestly, is everybody else thinking it?
No. A Pew Research survey showed that 99% of people would rather participate in the upside-down diet.
Wow.
Yeah. But this aired on the Fox TV network, and it was wildly popular when it came out. It kind of started... and it happened very quickly. This guy, Mark Burnett, is a game show producer type. Pitched it. I think he and another guy decided they wanted to pitch it in like November of 2006. And they pitched it at the beginning of 2007 to networks. And Fox picked it up in February, got Jeff Foxworthy to host, and it was on TV by March.
Wow.
So quite quick.
Yeah.
It aired for a few seasons from 2007 to 2009. There was a syndicated version until 2011. It was revived on Fox for 1 year in 2015. Didn't do as hot. And then there was also a 2019 version of the show on Nickelodeon.
Ooh.
Hosted by John Cena.
Right. That's who I think of when I think of children. I want a man who's usually almost naked, covered in oil, around children.
You might be a redneck. So the show, the entire premise of the show was, is this adult human
stupid,
smarter than a fifth grader? Is what I was going to say.
That's the nicer way to say it, but
I guess so. And so, it's kind of allegedly is Howard Stern did a bit very similar to this on his show previously. So I think he alleges that it was stolen from him, but
I think that he should get more money.
I think he has a lot of money,
but I think he should get more.
Okay, that's fair. I think all billionaires should
get more money. Yeah.
Have you downloaded the app that I have? It's called Robinhood.
I do, and it's interesting.
Commentary.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because I thought it was sort of like a stock trading, option trading situation, you can actually hire people to go into rich people's houses and steal their stuff and then bring it back to you. And it's weird because it tracks all of both you and the person stealing it. So I don't know how it's not going to be tracked back to you, the robbery that's actually occurring.
Well, if the rich person does it, it's legal.
Oh, so I'm hiring rich people to steal from rich people.
Yeah, they're allowed.
And that is double jeopardy, essentially. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Commentary. Anyway, so there was a cast of actual fifth graders. There were 5 fifth graders that appeared as quote unquote classmates on the show. And then there was 1 contestant competing by themselves. There were 2 questions each in first, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade.
Okay.
And each of them was different subjects. So it would be like first grade math or first grade reading, third grade measurements, whatever.
Measurements?
That was one of the categories.
Oh, wow.
I didn't make it up. What were your measurements in third grade?
I was 22, 20, 14.
Where was the 14?
My legs.
Okay.
Wait, how do measurements work?
Yeah, you got it right.
Okay. Chest.
It's legs, eyes, and nipples. Circumference of the nipples.
Okay.
It's circumference of the nipples.
Got
to be
it.
Clear.
Good.
So you, as the contestant, you can choose these categories in any order that you want. You can start on fifth grade history or first
Why would
grade
you?
finger painting or whatever. And as you got questions correct, you were basically going up a ladder of prize value, kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like you get the first question right, it's $1,000. Second, you're at $2,000. Third, you're at $5,000, $10,000, et cetera, et cetera. So the fifth question was worth $25,000. And once you got to $25,000, you were locked in at winning $25,000.
Okay.
Prior to that, if you missed a question, you were out and you won nothing.
And you had to say to the camera,
I'm John Baker, and I am not smarter than a fifth grader.
and then they tar and feathered you.
Yeah, it was kind of violent.
I didn't get that last
Yeah,
part.
that was a little weird. But yeah, and then at any point you could choose to walk away as well with the money you had won up until that point. If you get every single question right, if you get all 10 questions, you're at $500,000. That's the 10th. So along the way, you are choosing a classmate to join you for 2 questions at a time up at the podium, one of the 5 classmates. They are there because you have 3 cheats. These are your lifelines, basically.
Yeah.
The 3 cheats were peek, copy, and save. So if you chose to peek, it would show your classmate's answer, and you could choose to go with that.
Okay.
If you chose to copy, whatever your classmate put, you're locking that in as your answer. And you couldn't choose to save. That was just if you missed a question,
Yeah.
if your classmate got it correct, it would be like as if you had answered it correctly.
Okay.
You could only use each of those one time, obviously. So obviously 10 questions, 5 classmates, 2 questions per classmate alongside of you. You picked them. I don't know that there was necessarily any strategy in terms of which person you're picking.
You have no clue.
Which 2 questions. Yeah. They would kind of discuss with them, like, what category should I pick? And if the kid was like, oh, I'm really good at third grade math, they might choose third grade math or something like that.
I saw a couple of kids that when the contestant asked the question, well, what do you think we should go for? They said, I like this. And I would want to say, I don't care what you like. Are you good at that? I'm trying to win $1 million, you idiot.
I like basketball, but if LeBron were picking a team to beat the Monstars, I wouldn't recommend he pick me.
Do you understand, kid? Do you understand all those references, child?
I mean, I think there's that new LeBron Space Jam coming out this summer.
Yeah, but it hasn't actually come out yet.
Right, but we will get a sponsorship deal with them.
The Monstars?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They pay well, so I mean, fuck humanity. There was one final question if you reached 500,000 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was worth $1 million. But you had no classmate help on that one. You just basically got the category.
Yeah.
It was always a 5th grade question. So
Obviously.
it was 5th grade, whatever the category. And you had to choose right then or there whether you wanted to drop out, which is what they call
Like a coward.
leaving with your money,
Right.
or go for the question. Because once you saw that question, you could no longer drop out. Previously, you could get the question and then choose to drop out. For the $1 million question, once you say you're going for it, you have to answer that question. And you either drop down to $25,000 or you win $1 million.
God, that would suck so much.
Going from 500,000 to 25,000?
Yes.
Yeah, I did it buying GameStop stock.
That's so awesome, dude.
I'm
so proud of you.
It was fun. Yeah, so it's dropping out if you choose to walk away with your money, and they called it flunking out if you missed and dropped down to 0 or 25,000, which it just hurts. I think there were about 100 episodes of the show. Only one real contestant ever won the $1 million. They also did a celebrity edition for charity, and one person won that, who was like an astrophysics professor at Cal Berkeley or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So I hope he's smarter than a 5th grader.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, the kids were there they were cast. I don't know if you'll believe this. A lot of the kids
Are actors.
were actors.
No way. You know how I could tell?
Yeah.
Because they weren't like Double Dare kids.
You're right. They were clearly told that they needed to be enthusiastic and cheering
Yes.
anytime anything happened.
You know what? You know who else was told that? Every single person in the audience.
There was a lot of enthusiasm
There was nonstop enthusiasm.
for a lot of dumb fucking answers.
Yes.
So the kids, they would be there for the entire season. Like I said, a lot of them were child actors. Obviously, I think you had to live in the LA area because that was where the show was shot.
Okay.
And they were there for a whole season. And at the end of the season, they got a graduation night thing for them. And each of the kids was given a $25,000 savings bond, like your grandma might give you.
A $25,000 savings bond?
A savings bond.
I got this like $100 savings bond from my godmother.
My grandma gave me $100 savings bond for my birthday every year when I was a kid.
Do you still have them?
No, my parents took those and stole all that money.
Wow, dude. I have 3 right now
Like,
still.
no, this is for your college.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. You decided to go to an out-of-state school that was super expensive.
I don't know that it was super expensive.
It was pretty expensive.
It was like more expensive than
every single,
an in-state
Texas.
college.
Yeah.
Sure. But that was the kids. They all were required to be actual 5th graders, so they were all like 10 years old. So there's no chicanery going on there. Mm-hmm. Here's where the chicanery was going on.
Right.
Here's the thing about this show, and it's bugged me since 2007 when it started.
Oh, this has been in your brain and
Since
you've
it
been
started
waiting.
airing. I've been waiting 14 years for this delicious moment right here.
It's all yours.
Where I could call out Jeff Foxworthy for his bullshit. You know what? If you host a game show called Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader and none of the fucking questions are actual 5th grade knowledge, you might be bullshit.
Wow. Which questions? You saying because only one was 5th grade level?
Like all of them. Oh, they would say like, oh, this is 3rd grade, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bullshit. And so maybe maybe a super smart 5th grader would know some of these questions. But this is not core curriculum for these grades.
Got it.
They would ask questions such as, here's a 3rd grade geography question.
Okay.
Budapest is the capital of what European country? 3rd grade geography. First of all, Geography, I don't think was a category until like high school.
I remember geography in like...
What's going on with your phone there?
Sorry.
Who's calling?
My dog needs to go out and pee.
Oh.
But he'll just pee in his crate.
Okay, that's cool.
Geography, I remember in like middle school.
Okay, sure. But in third grade, were you learning all of the capitals of European countries?
No.
Right.
I assumed Europe was a section at Disney World.
It was. But it didn't have Hungary, which is the answer to the question.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where, yes, as an adult watching that, I'm like, okay, this is common knowledge. The answer is Hungary.
I didn't know that.
Okay. So, right, you don't have common knowledge. But
I have comedy content.
the point is...
It's different.
The point is, obviously, you didn't learn that in third grade.
No.
Those are not, we're still focused on, like, how to speak properly in third grade.
I mean, third grade is what? You're still doing spelling?
Yeah. I specifically remember spelling tests. Budapest, by the way, not something that's going to be on your spelling test.
Yeah.
So,
unless you have a forward-thinking teacher who knew you were going to be on Are You Smarter Than the Fifth Grader as the child.
right. Here was another one, by the way. Fifth grade ancient history. Fifth grade ancient history. You remember your ancient history class in fifth grade? What was the original name of the city that the Emperor Constantine renamed Constantinople?
The original?
The original name, before he changed it to Constantinople. What was it?
Budapest.
Holy shit, how did you know? So I was like, oh, well, I know that that's Istanbul now because of the song. Istanbul, Constantinople. But I was like, oh, I don't know. Was it called Istanbul also before it was called Constantinople? No, it was called Byzantium.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I'm thinking
Because the Byzantine
Byzantine
Empire,
Oh, okay.
that was where it was headquartered.
Like it's a fucking tech company.
Right, but fifth grade, I didn't fucking know that question. I think I've got fifth grade knowledge. Maybe this just proves that I'm not smarter than a fifth grader. But
Right.
that's bullshit. Because the fifth grader answered Athens, so he didn't
Greece?
have any fucking clue.
Yeah.
He was way off.
That's funny
I mean,
because the
it's
first
kind
thing-
of close to Turkey, but still.
When you said ancient Greece, I immediately said Greece in my head.
Ancient history? you mean?
Ancient history,
Yeah.
I said Greece. So that kid was probably right around the same as just...
Right. So I do remember in like sixth grade, back when I was a youth, I was just tricked into learning things all the time.
Okay.
I would like think it was fun.
Who taught you this?
I don't know.
There's one hell of a teacher in your
adults.
past.
Well, because it would be like, oh, Mario teaches typing. And so I think I'm playing a Mario game, but I'm learning how to type on a computer or whatever.
Right.
Or read a rabbit. I think I'm, playing some rabbit race game, but I'm learning how to read. Things like that I would always be tricked into learning.
Well, you have to do that to a kid. Nobody wants to sit in a room when you're a kid with bundles of energy. It's like me. When Bo wants to
Your dog, to be clear.
play around and be a puppy, I'm like, no. I just worked all day while you yelped and barked while I was on conference calls. It is now time to not move a muscle. I want to see you barely breathing because I need to relax.
It's got kind of dark, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, I do remember in like sixth grade during the summer, I signed up for like some fun summer classes, and one of them was an ancient Greek mythology, a Greek mythology class is what it was.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh,
God
those are
of
cool stories.
Zeus,
There's
yeah.
like Zeus and stuff, Hercules, stuff like that. I want to, know more about that. But again, that was not part of my fifth grade curriculum. So that's a European history question, basically. That's like AP European history in high school.
Yeah.
Is what that question was. But no, it's Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And here's where it gets even deeper down the rabbit hole.
Okay.
Because here's what I like to do. I like to read fine print. Nobody gets anything past me, okay? And if you watch Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader and you get to the end credits and you read the fine print in the end credits, you might read that it says, the classmates were given workbooks in advance of the episode to cover knowledge around the type of knowledge that they would need for the show or things that might come up on the show.
Okay.
So they would have workbooks that might tell them, study the history of Turkish capitals or something like that.
It was curated content.
Yeah. So it was a scam.
I mean, I wouldn't say a total scam.
A ripoff. A grift.
But
a huckster.
I don't know if it was quite a huckstable. But
Yeah, it was just taking women up to your hotel room and slipping something into their drinks. And that's a Cosby joke, in case you're not smarter than a fifth grader.
it was weird. There was a Cosby section in the packet that they had to learn.
Yeah, it was.
Then those kids did get PTSD therapy sessions,
but
afterwards.
they did get Jello pudding.
So can you really complain about it?
Yeah. So yeah, the show is a lie. That's my main
I wouldn't
problem
say it's
with
a
it.
lie, because you're not saying, are you smarter than the fifth grader that has only fifth grade knowledge? You're just saying, are you smarter than the fifth grader? That particular fifth grader has other knowledge outside of fifth grade.
Right. Again, and so I guess the issue I take with it is when I hear, are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Mm-hmm.
I take that to mean in general.
Right.
Are you smarter than a general fifth grader?
It's a wide
but what
spectrum,
they mean
though.
is, are you smarter than a specific fifth grader that knows all this stuff?
Right. And who also isn't in school because they're being privately tutored because they're recording
they're
a show.
groomed to be on the Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah.
Because I believe one of the girls on the show actually was later on the Wizards of Waverly Place.
Really?
I think so. I mean, some of them like have Wikipedia pages because they're that successful of actors post
Got it.
being on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Okay.
Ken Jennings was on one of the celebrity Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Graders.
Was he?
He was. He got all 10 questions correct. He was at the $500,000. The excuse me. The category for the $1 million question was fifth grade social studies.
Okay.
He chose to drop out and walk away because he was
A coward.
concerned he wouldn't know what fifth grade social study was. And then the question, which again was not a fifth grade question at all.
Yeah.
But it was, for a smart trivia guy, a fairly easy question it ended up being.
Okay.
So he was, he would have won the $1 million if he didn't drop out like a coward.
Yeah.
But also, I think at the time he was playing to become the winningest game show player in American history.
And he wanted to do it
only
on-
needed the $500,000 to do it. So
Oh, wow.
he stopped there to become the winningest player in game show history, which he would eventually lose, but he regained last year.
Nice.
So there were other people on this show aside from celebrities as well. And herein lies another problem that I have with this show.
Yeah.
They did not cast smart people to be the contestants on the show.
Well, yeah, because the questions were super easy. You can't have smart people on a show that has easy questions that's giving away $1 million.
But they weren't super easy. Like I said, a lot of these questions were not the type of question that I would think a first through fifth grader would learn in their classrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a problem with it is it's just a celebration of stupidity, which is what American culture is.
You've had a lot of
Now.
heat on American culture. Last week.
What did I say last week?
Everybody hates America because we like shopping in malls and running
That's
up
true.
escalators. And now it's, everybody in America is so stupid and we celebrate it. It's like, yeah, we do now, but we didn't always. So we could
Right,
always
so the
go
problem-
back.
I think the
So we
problem
could
is that.
always go back to not doing it.
So you want to make America great again? Is what you're
Yes,
saying?
God.
Okay.
Finally, somebody says it.
I just wanted to be clear with that. So I personally,
Are stupid.
thank you. I enjoy watching game shows because I like to see people smarter than me, especially in a trivia game show. You know, there are other game shows like Press Your Luck or The Price is Right or whatever, where it's not trivia focused. I'm not expecting these people to be smart and be challenged intellectually.
Yeah.
On a trivia game show, that's kind of what I'm tuning in for.
Oh, really?
I want to see people be smart. It's like I don't watch the NFL because I want to see people suck at football. I watch because I want to see the very best people performing at the highest level.
Interesting. I don't watch game shows because people are smarter
And it makes
than
you
me.
feel dumb.
Correct. And so I kind of tune in to see the opposite situation. So I would watch, it's like when I watch America's Funniest Home Videos, I don't want to watch people get out of difficult situations. I want to see people get put into difficult situations and then have something come roaring at their testicles.
Okay.
And that is funny to me.
America's Funniest Home Videos is your favorite game show?
Well, no, I'm just saying that's a show that I like to
Right.
tune into where I feel superior
Right.
to what I'm viewing.
Gotcha. So the other thing is we have people on here, and this is critique of, again, our society.
God,
I saw one episode where the contestant was a third grade teacher.
Uh-oh. So
And it's
she's
like-
not, she doesn't know fifth grade stuff yet because she
Right.
only teaches
It's the
third
problem.
grade.
Because the only qualifications to be a third grade teacher is a fourth grade education.
Right.
So, I mean, she obviously is not smarter than a fifth grader. And yeah, she was very dumb. Which, your wife is a teacher. She's very smart.
Well, because she teaches smart kids.
Okay. So
She teaches gifted and talented
Oh, she does?
children
Okay.
in 8th grade. So it's like these kids are pretty damn smart.
So she's smart. We have friends that are teachers that are smart. I also know a lot of people that are teachers that are not smart. That
Like, why are they
That I
teaching?
knew in my life before they were teachers, and then they became teachers, and I went, oh no.
What are first and last names?
Oh no. We'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah, so she was a third grade teacher, and it was there. So she got to third grade science. She got first. This was in the Nickelodeon version where it was a little more linear. You had to start first grade, second grade, third
Okay.
grade, etc. So she got to third grade science, and it was in like an electronic circuit. Does copper wire function as a conductor or an insulator?
Conductor.
Right. And so she said, oh, we just did an experiment in my class where we used copper wire and tied it around a battery
Yeah.
to turn on a light bulb. And so the battery must have been the conductor and the wire must have been the insulator.
Oh, no.
And so she missed the science experiment that she had just recently taught her school students about.
Yeah.
She didn't understand whether the copper wire going from the battery to the light bulb that was allowing the light bulb to turn on, she couldn't understand whether that was conducting the current or not.
Yeah. But you have to understand, she probably had a lot going on in her life. In third grade, in third grade, do you have just one teacher, or you're already moving on to different teachers for different
we just
subjects?
had one teacher. You might have had if you were, you
Fifth
might have had a
grade.
smart math class where during the math portion of the day,
Yeah.
kids moved around, but for the majority of it, you just had one teacher.
So you got to understand, this teacher, I mean, it's very sad that she had just done this experiment, but she's teaching these kids lots of things about life. And usually in third grade, you're getting life lessons. They're not just teaching you from a workbook. Like, they're telling you, here's what happens when someone tries
Don't
to
eat
shortchange
that.
you at your job at Kohl's. Like,
is that what you learned in third grade?
you have to be prepared.
I worked at Kohl's, and I wish we'd learned more stuff like that in third grade, because there were these, they would call them quick change artists.
Yeah.
Basically. You're familiar with this?
100% familiar.
Yeah. They would come in with $100 bill, and they'd be like, hey, can you just or they'd pay for something cheap with $100 bill, and you'd start giving them their money back, like 4 20s and a 10 or whatever, and you'd give it all to them, and they'd be like,
You just gave them $100 back from
4 20s and a 10 is $90.
Okay.
And you'd give them that money, and they'd be like, oh, sorry, instead of these 20s, can I get 5 10s, blah, whatever. And like they just go back and forth until somehow you've given them $150 in change.
Yeah.
This never happened to me, but it did happen to coworkers of mine that worked there that didn't have the 3rd grade teacher that you had.
And it's one of the things in life where hearing about it now, or hearing it from a third party removed, or we brought you into the situation knowing this is going to be a difficult situation. Well, yeah, it's easy to say I would never get in that situation, but think about the anxiety you get in just normal situations in life. Now put yourself in a job, and now you're in a kind of a high anxiety situation where you probably these people don't just go to a person who's not, by themselves. Like, they make sure there's a line behind them, because now they know you need to get past this customer and get to the next one. So they prey on you. And by the time you're done in the situation, it wasn't just a nice person who was confused or they didn't understand what was going on. It was somebody who was taking advantage of you, and now you've given away Kohl's money, hard-earned Kohl's money from Kohl's executives, to some psycho who probably gave you a fake $100 bill.
So I did have somebody give me a fake $100 bill when I worked at Kohl's. They went to pay for, again, something very cheap, and they gave me $100. And I did the hold it up to the light thing. Yeah. And
did you know what you were looking for?
Well, I saw Abe Lincoln's face in the background.
Okay.
And he's a guy that's, on the $5 bill.
Right.
And so I knew that this was a washed out $5 bill. So it was actual. So if you did the pen test, it would pass the pen test.
Because it was actual tender.
It's actual. Yeah, it was actual money, but it was washed out and reprinted with the $100 on top. And so I was like, do you have anything else? This is counterfeit. Because you're not supposed to
say, go away, this is counterfeit.
Right. You're like
give them
loss prevention people teach you to try and like hold them there or whatever. Because you can't, like, as the 19-year-old cashier at Kohl's, you're not supposed to try and do anything or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, sorry, we can't accept this. Like, this is a $5 bill or whatever. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, this is not a real $100 bill. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, look, hold up to the light.
You showed her?
Yeah. I was like, it's a $5 bill. And she was like, well, what do you want from me? And I was like, real money? And she was like,
I can keep this. This is good for $5. Yeah, I don't know.
She goes, I got this as change. And I go, did you pay with a $1,000 bill? It's impossible to get a $100 bill as change.
Oh my God.
So eventually, after like a couple minutes of like trying to argue with me about it, they just left.
Wow.
And then I, called loss prevention. I was like, that person was just trying to give me a counterfeit bill. And they were like, oh, all right, thanks. So
Did you get to keep it?
No, they took it back, I think. Because I don't know. I wasn't gonna be like, I'm confiscating this. This is evidence now.
What happens if you know that your 100 is a counterfeit, but it's also a legal 5? Can you still pay for it and be like, I know this is a $5 bill and I know it?
I know this is counterfeit, but
and you know it.
Look, can I buy this $4 thing with it and give me $1 change?
You know what? Just keep it. I just don't want this in my possession anymore.
That's a good question. I think once you like wash it out and print on it, you probably can't use it
because you've ruined that.
Anymore.
That's illegal, right? That's a federal crime.
I think so. Yeah, you're not supposed to mess with that stuff. But yeah, I think
if I get my $1, I'm gonna do what I want with it.
Okay.
Just so everybody knows.
I'm glad to have that clarified for everyone.
Good.
But yeah, I think there's just too many dumb people on this show. I think there's too much celebration of, haha, this person's stupid. Look, the 5th grader is smarter than them, whatever. Yeah. It's kind of that gotcha thing. It's like, I don't know, again, just put smart people on. Nobody
wants to see it. And you want to know why? Because this show was super popular. Do you think it would have been this popular with everybody was like, I'm winning $1 million every episode?
I mean, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was very popular. Jeopardy has been very popular. They have smart
you know who watches
people on
Jeopardy?
those shows.
Old people. You know who gets corona? Old people.
Whoa. I mean, anybody can get it. Just those are the ones who
But
die
those are the
from
ones
it.
who are dying from
Yeah.
it.
But I don't know. I just think it's a celebration of stupidity that I don't appreciate personally. It reminded me
Okay.
of this-
Boomer.
Have you seen this? That's my dog's name, actually. Have you seen this? A new HBO documentary, Fake Famous?
No.
Okay, you should check it out. Do you have HBO?
Oh, wait. I have seen previews for
Okay.
it. They give 3 or 4 people a whole bunch of clout, essentially.
On
and it
Instagram,
shows like
yep.
how they react to it.
Right.
Okay.
So the entire thing is about people getting Instagram famous.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty mind blowing.
These people change into trolls or like just like evil people right away.
No, not really. I mean, just that these people on Instagram with all the followers, they have accomplished nothing in their life and they've contributed nothing to society, and they make a bunch of money literally just taking pictures of themselves in front of walls and
You
stuff.
can't say they didn't contribute anything to society.
I can. and I
Because
did.
they are contributing to society, because when brands give them stuff to sell,
Right, they sell shit to people
Right.
because they convince them it'll make them be like their glorious life, which is all fake. It's crazy. These people, the goals of the stuff they do is they will like set up a fake scenario or whatever, or like go buy a super expensive resort or something like that and like sneak in, or just like go in and not actually pay for anything there and pose and take some good looking pictures there and check in there and tag it and be like, oh, hanging out at the Westin Santa Monica, whatever it is. And then they'll like buy comments. You can go online and buy likes. You can buy followers.
I
you
knew
can
you
buy
could
comments.
buy followers.
And it's very cheap, by the way. 7,500 followers for Instagram is $100.
Yes, but you have to buy from a quality source, because buying just people can tell that that's fake. You got to buy people that comment or like.
Sure, but they buy comments or whatever, and then they take that and then they email the W, and they're like, hey, I really love your hotels, blah, 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 blah. I've got 150,000 followers on Instagram. Look at this post that I made at the Westin Santa Monica. It got 175 comments in the first day. I'd really like to work with you guys to promote something at one of your resorts. And then those people will be like, oh, wow, 150,000. Like, all we have to give this person is like $1,000 worth of free hotel. And
Yeah.
they'll post our stuff on there. And so then the W is giving them a free resort stay because they faked staying at a different resort. Like,
That's
it's
just
insane.
smart.
It's insane. Do you know? And
Are you smarter than an Instagram model?
Right.
Because I'm not.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have snuck into a place and done that.
Exactly. So the crazy thing is, so these people, like, they consider themselves famous. People
Sure.
who watch them. So they said in the documentary, I haven't seen the sources to back this up, but they said for children today, the number one most desired profession when they grow up is influencer.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
Right. Again, not a real thing. How many people on Instagram do you think have 1 million followers?
How many? I don't know. Like 50 people?
40 million.
Wow.
The number of people on Instagram with at least 100,000 followers is half the population of the United States. So it's just a big circle of brands using these people because they seem to have a big reach. People buying, like, apparently Kim Kardashian, half of her Instagram followers are bots. Even actual rich and famous people. Again, she's probably an exception because she's also not famous for doing anything or contributing anything to society.
Right. She's like, if we ever go back in
She's
time.
the dawn of influencering.
Exactly.
Right.
Absolutely. And luckily it has changed, because if her business model was the same, everybody would have to just get cum on their back and then get famous. And it's like, you don't want a whole generation of kids being like, oh, I have to have sex and film it, and then I can get famous.
Right. I just have to sell out all my principles and
Correct.
pretend to like things that I don't give a shit about.
I mean, that's everything.
Well,
you do that in your regular human life when you're not even selling anything because you don't want to look like a weirdo not liking the thing that everybody else likes.
Yeah, to a certain extent, you're right. But like they literally had like Instagram influencer field trips where they would have somebody organize. Like there are companies that organize these things where they rent a huge charter bus.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we're recruiting, 15 influencers, bring some outfits or whatever, or they'll get ASOS or somebody to provide outfits. And we're starting in LA. We're driving out to this place where you can take some good photos. And then we'll drive you to this place where you can take some good photos, and all the way to Vegas and you can take some good photos there. Like, and it's a group of 15 people all taking the same fucking photo because they're all in the same field trip doing the same thing. And it's just all entirely inauthentic. And people are watching that and they're like, wow, this person's life looks great. They're out here doing this. Like they're out here in the redwoods walking around. They had one of these bus trips for Coachella. So these people that are posting there's photos and videos at Coachella, they're not actually attending Coachella to see the bands or anything. They show up to Coachella to take pictures saying they're at Coachella, and that's it.
Yeah, because it's a status thing. But here's what I don't understand. It seems like these people aren't really making a lot of money. Maybe they're doing okay.
They're
but
getting free shit.
Right. So who's paying the company who's taking all these people who don't make money to go take photos?
So I think they will work with like brands, like I said, like if it's like
so
it's
a sponsored trip,
right? I think
Got
so.
it.
Like
okay,
our clothing brands or our sunglasses or whatever it is.
Got it.
So everybody's taking pictures in the sunglasses out at this place, whatever. But yeah, so the people, they get the free stuff, but then they'll also get, it's like, hey, we'll send you our sunglasses, and if you post 5 pictures in our sunglasses and tag our account, we'll pay you $5,000.
Yeah.
And the amounts of money get fairly exorbitant the higher up on the follower chains you go. And again, they make a point in the documentary where I feel like I'm summarizing the whole thing, but I still recommend watching it, where it's all a self-fulfilling circle where nobody's putting a stop to any of this bot stuff, because for Instagram, the more active users they have, the more comments that they can sell to people, it makes their numbers look better. It makes them as a company look like they've got a stronger user base, whatever.
Yeah.
For, the advertising companies, they're, selling to the clients that look at this reach that we're going to get from these people or whatever,
Right.
For the companies, they're getting a fairly cheap exposure of $5,000 for
500 robots to see their shit,
whatever. Yeah, but because the thing is, the more bot followers people have, the more organic followers they also get because
they look like they're legitimate.
Look like exactly.
Yeah.
So nobody has any desire to put a stop to any of this stuff because it's making everybody money along the way, basically.
Yeah, sure.
So it's pretty crazy, and I think the biggest problem I have with Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader is it's just celebrating this stupid dumbing down of society where you get to see people be dumb, and it's funny because
but they also win money.
This little kid is smarter than them, but there is money on the line, and you get to watch it and go, oh, I could do that. But then they're not going to put you on the show because you could do that.
Right.
And that's the problem with it. We talked about a few weeks ago with The Chase when the Beast said he had come from the UK version, and he kind of congratulated the American version because he said these smart people would not be put on the UK version, and they're actually putting really smart people on the US version as contestants. Mm-hmm. Are You Smarter Than Fifth Grader is not doing that. They are putting dumb people on the show.
No, they're not.
On purpose. So I don't know. That's my problem with it. Hey, here's how I would make it better.
How would you make it better?
Make it real. Make it real questions.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You want the questions to get easier and go down to literal 5th grade questions and below, and the contestants smarter. This would not be a fun, watchable show if it was smart people answering dumb questions.
No, because here's the thing. I think here's the thing. There were some questions on there that was like third grade math, and it was I don't remember when you learned long division. I can't remember what grade that was, but there was a long division question. So maybe it wasn't actually a third grade question. Yeah. But the point was, it said how many times does 11 go into 111,111? Yeah, and I watched it and I went, fuck, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't remember how to do long division. I remember learning long division in school. I've had a calculator in my pocket for the last 15 years of my life. Yeah. I have no idea how to do long division. And so I thought, oh, that's a good question that a grade schooler would know how to figure out the answer to that most adults probably don't remember how to do. I think there is a lot of stuff. If you go through the textbooks that you had from elementary school, there is a lot of stuff that you're not going to remember about, that you're not going to remember how to do, especially science and math sort of stuff that it doesn't matter to us in our day-to-day lives as we grow up. We passed the test back in the day and it exited our brain. So I think a lot of smart adults aren't going to remember that stuff. So I think you could do this in a much more legitimate fashion than what they have done.
Like a lot of cursive questions.
Right. Write this in cursive.
And it's Z's. So it's just Billy Madison. Yeah. Do you remember how to make a Z?
Yes.
How do you do it?
So you go up kind of like you're making an N.
Okay.
And then you stop, and then you do another loop.
Right.
And then you loop it back down like a lowercase j. Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
But yeah, I think there are ways to do this that isn't so inauthentic, that is more real. And the problem is maybe that is not entertaining to our society, our modern society,
I don't think it is.
Because we want to see people being dumb.
Yes.
We like that.
Life is banal. We need extremes in our entertainment. Is that
no, you said it right.
Okay.
Banal?
Banal. Hello, I am banal. I didn't need to do the. I don't know why, but every time I do.
No, every time you do the Bane thing, you have
to do the.
I was wondering what would break first.
I think that is what makes entertainment entertaining, is when it's on extremes, either super stupid people being stupid or people being superhero smart.
People being the best ever.
I'm gonna do my make it better.
Okay.
One of my make it betters. My first one was give the kids a cut if they help win money. And then I found out that they get the 25,000. So
not bad.
Great.
For a season's worth of work. I think there were only 15 episodes, 20 episodes.
Plus they're getting paid to do that.
Yeah.
So great. My second one was when a fifth grade, these are all fifth graders, right?
Yes.
When a fifth grader gets a question wrong, they should be held back 1 year in actual school.
Okay. Yep. I like it.
And if the fifth grader got something correct and the contestant didn't go with their answer or something and they had gotten it correct, that fifth grader should get to take the actual job of the person that missed the question.
Wow.
So they get to kind of a switch situation. Yeah. So you might have a panel of 3 really dumb adults at the end of the season because they have had to give their jobs to the fifth graders.
They're sitting there in the little kids' desks.
Right. Those are my make it better.
Okay. I like it. I also feel like there's probably something they could do in terms of the kids that aren't the contestant's classmate for those 2 questions. They're kind of just sitting there doing nothing, and every once in a while they'll be like, Annalise, did you know the answer to this one?
Right.
And she's like, yeah, I think it was blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yep, that is right. But that doesn't mean anything. Like, it was just like...
It's filler.
Just conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Thanks, Annalise.
I agree. Well, out of wasted potential for sure.
Yeah. So I think now we are going to go into a lightning round.
It's a lightning round.
All right. So we both put together 5 questions. Did you put 5 questions? Mm-hmm. So we're each going to ask the other 5 questions. And I did 1 from each grade, 1st through 5th for you.
Yikes. Mine were all 10th grade science.
Hold on. What? And we'll see who is more smarter than a
more
fifth
smarter
grader.
Than a
more
fifth
smarter
grader.
than a 5th grader.
I like it. You can go first.
All right. I'll start from I'll go 1st through 5th for you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
This is a 1st grade music question.
Ooh, okay.
This is multiple choice.
Oh, sweet.
Which is an instrument in the woodwind family? Violin, saxophone, or trumpet?
Woodwind?
Yes.
Fuck.
Violin, saxophone, or trumpet?
I'm gonna go saxophone.
Saxophone is the correct answer.
That was tough.
Trumpet is brass.
Brass, okay.
And violin is string.
Right, I knew that because violin's the best.
Don't
Viola's the
believe
best.
that you learned this in first grade.
No, definitely not.
It's like 5th or 6th grade, I think.
I
is when
learned
you start
this-
learning this stuff.
Yeah,
When you start taking
when you start doing
classes,
music
yeah.
classes, yeah.
But nice, so you're 1 for 1. 2nd grade math.
Okay.
1/10 is to 10%, as 1/4 is to what percent?
25%?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So you're 2 for 2. These are all questions from the actual show. by the way.
Okay.
2 for 2 so far. 3rd grade measurements. Here's where things
Oh,
get
God.
fun.
Oh, no.
How many teaspoons
Oh, no.
are in 5 tablespoons?
Oh, my God. 25.
15. There are 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon.
Not
apparently.
5.
I did
Okay.
not know that one. 4th grade geography.
Okay.
What country is largest in area?
Country?
Yes. What country takes up the most amount of land in the world?
Russia.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Three out of 4 so far.
Nice.
And
75%.
then, holy shit.
Was that-
How did you know the last question? Finally, 5th grade world history.
Fucked. I'm fucked.
Yeah, you are, I think. The European Union flag features a circle with how many stars?
I mean, come on. 15.
12.
Ah!
Close. 12. I wouldn't have known that one either.
Ah!
So you got 3 out of 5.
Okay.
You got 1st, 2nd, and 4th grade correct.
Okay.
Not terrible.
Okay.
But you are not as smart as a 4th grader.
That's
I guess.
fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
4th graders are fucking smart, dude.
That's true.
All they do is school.
This is their job.
That's-
I have a real job.
I've got to figure out if I'm playing a mirror level or not in fucking Mario Kart Deluxe. Like,
Oh, no,
I need
I turned the
to
wrong way. I
focus
forgot
on
this turn.
different things.
Yeah.
This is a 1st grade history.
Okay. America.
From which country did Mexico gain its independence in the 19th century?
In the 19th century, so the 1800s, that would be Spain.
That is correct. Name the American president. Sorry, this is 3rd grade history.
Okay.
Name the American president on the $50 coin.
I believe that is John F. Kennedy.
That is correct.
Is that still a thing?
That's.
The 50-cent piece?
I think they're still in production. I mean, they're still. Actually, I don't know if they're in production.
What about the Sacagawea dollar? Is that still around?
Dude, those were so popular.
I know. They were like when they came out, it was like, oh man.
I would
look.
use them in every single Coke machine.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, for some reason, we were like, oh, this is awesome. This is really going to catch on. But it's like, it's just heavier and clunkier than having a dollar bill. So
Right.
why?
And also, nobody uses change, and change was already on the decline at that point.
That's true.
Okay, 5th grade English. We're jumping.
Fuck.
The words "the," "an," and are known as what in English grammar?
Articles.
That is correct.
Yes.
4th grade geography. What is the state motto of California?
Come on. Stupid. The state motto. So Florida is like the sunshine state. No, that's like the tagline. Does that like so?
Here. I'm gonna give
Is
you.
it like an e pluribus unum type?
I'm gonna give you a thing that's
Okay.
gonna show you how fucked you are.
Okay.
The state motto of Texas is friendship.
Wait, what?
Yep.
The state that I've lived in for the last 20
Is
something years.
friendship. Do you remember when you see driving on the highway and some of the times those signs say drive friendly the Texas way?
That's part of the motto.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, this was what? And sorry, so this is 4th grade geography.
4th grade geography.
What is the state motto of California?
Correct.
The state motto of California.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
The state motto was around the mid-early 1800s.
The mid-early.
That's
1800s.
when it was decreed.
So even before California was populous at all.
Correct.
Because 1849 was when people moved to California.
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna say, I want to know where the gold at.
So close, dude.
Oh!
It's Eureka.
Oh, dang it! That's what you say when you find the gold.
Damn, dude, that was a lot closer than I thought. That was pretty good. And last is 3rd grade math.
Okay, this is the tiebreaker
This is a tiebreaker.
because we're both at 3 right now.
How many grams are in 1,000 kilograms?
Okay, 1,000. So there are 1,000 grams in a kilogram. So it's 1,000 times 1,000. So it's gonna be 1,000,000.
That is correct.
Oh God, you suck.
3rd grade math.
I'm smarter than a 4th grader. You're only smarter than a 3rd grader.
I'm smarter than a 3rd grader, and I'll take it.
All right, yeah. So that's again, Eureka. I remember when I learned that in 4th grade. All the state mottos.
You know when I learned the state motto
are
for
just-
Texas?
when you looked it up after you found that question?
Nope. When Jonda and her group
Your
over at
wife.
DCH, yes, wrote a sketch show that was Texas themed, and one of the sketches told you that the
state
motto was friendship.
Also, I feel like a motto should be, a saying or something.
Some of them are.
Okay. But both of these are just a word.
Correct.
Our two most...
There's not like a very specific motto group within government that they are held to, stringent rules.
It's like our two most popular... Is Texas the second most populous state?
3rd, right? New York,
Yeah, I
California,
can't
then
remember
Texas.
if New York is ahead of Texas or
I
not.
feel like it is.
So at least 2 of our 3 most popular states just have one random
What do you think the
word
state motto
as their
for
motto.
for New York is?
I don't know. That's the other state
the
that I've...
fuck out of the way.
That's the other state that I've lived my life in, so I certainly don't know that one either. Forget about it.
Excelsior.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's also the state motto for the Avengers or something.
The state motto representing our continuous search for excellence and belief in a strong, bright, and even better future.
Okay, so all these mottos are just one word.
These
so
3
far.
are.
The 3 most populous states in the union
Yeah.
are just a word. Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, again, this is obviously not knowledge that you're taught in elementary school. These are not in the textbooks. The writers of this show need to go through some textbooks. You
Yeah.
just made like a horrified face looking at
Well,
one of
I
these
looked up
things.
other mottos, and the one, so we've got 3 one-letter words.
Yeah.
Virginia is sic semper tyrannius.
That means down with the tyrants, I think.
But it just goes to show how there's no theme going
Yeah.
on here.
And it's fun. I actually don't know that that's what that means, but we saw that on something the other day, and Erica, my wife, said, "What does that mean?" And I said, "I think it means down with the tyrants," and then I never looked it up.
Well, it means thus always to tyrants.
What?
That's what it says.
Thus always to tyrants.
Right.
Okay.
Which I'm sure translates to something similar
Something
to that.
similar to that. I don't know. Anyway, it's about independence. Let's put it that way.
It's about tobacco.
Whoa.
Probably.
Okay. Give tobacco to the tyrants. North Carolina is more tobacco.
Yeah,
That's
I guess so.
their state motto is tobacco.
Yeah.
Do it. Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. Oh, that'd be a good one for
Peer pressure.
What's New Jersey? I feel like it'd be peer pressure.
Why New Jersey?
Oh, because it's dirty.
Whoa. To all of our listeners from New Jersey,
Sic semper tyrannius.
suck temper to. I don't know. I was trying to think of a clever insult there. I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, that shows that we're.
Hey, how about you leave the comedy content to me?
Sorry, you focus on the comedy content. I'll focus on the boring facts. That pretty much does it for this. Obviously, we've proven that according to the standards of this program, we are not smarter than 5th graders.
But close.
We're close-ish. We're smarter than a couple kids. But honestly, I could beat all of those fucking kids at a game of one-on-one basketball.
Right.
So,
Or just physically.
yeah, it wrestle me.
Yeah. Like
Fight-
I drank
fight
an
me.
alcoholic beverage this entire podcast
What was
because
that? It was red. Did it have some cranberry juice in it.
It had a raspberry syrup liqueur with gin and lime juice.
If I were to come up with a 5th grade insult for you right now, it would be gay.
Yikes! A 5th grade insult from the 90s.
Yeah, you cannot use that
anymore.
5th grade insult anymore,
Yeah.
and I do not condone it because I am smarter than a 5th grader from the 90s, but not one now.
Okay, I was going to say,
That's
yeah.
just to be clear,
Okay.
not one now. All right, this has been another episode of Come On Down. I would recommend that you follow us on Instagram because I'm a big fan of social media. I think it's great for society.
Right.
I think
Also,
it's
we have
uplifting
purchased
us.
80 of our 98 followers, and it's getting kind of expensive on the bill.
Here's
If
the
we
thing. I am seriously considering, now that I watch this show, buying followers for our Instagram.
It's so easy.
If that increases the listenership of this podcast for $100, I'll do it.
It's an investment.
I'll do it.
But you can't do it a lot. You have to do it in phases because then people know you
Correct.
purchased them and you lose all
slowly
your
but surely. Slowly but surely follow us on Instagram at Come On Down Show. Subscribe on, iTunes, Google, YouTube, etc. And you can watch us talk more shit about 5th graders.
We do a lot of talking shit on kids on this show.
Because that's the only people that we're smarter than. And better than.
Honestly,
Taller than.
check your lane, kid.
Yeah.
Go to school.
If you're in person classes right now.
Right.
If
If
not, do the remote thing.
Do what everybody who's working from home is doing, and that's fake work. So just fake go to school.
Play video games in the background with your camera on, with your thing on mute, and you're good.
Exactly.
All right. We will see you guys next week.